Hi, greetings, it's me, Dr. Paul Gerhardt, and this is video 13 of our marketing series. And this particular video is going to focus on services, which is considered an intangible product. And you may have a business or want to start a business where you have actual tangible products. But when you are really thinking about how to market your product, you really have to think in terms of what do you have to offer that really is intangible. And I think hopefully after this, watching this video, you're going to realize that every business has some sort of intangible business. So let's get right into this. A service essentially is could be providing good customer service, and most companies that are trying to distinguish themselves from their competitors do something where they have clear sense of service. I know that you could walk into some restaurants and right off the bat every single employee in there greets you with whatever special greeting there is. If it's maybe some kind of foreign restaurant like a sushi restaurant, maybe they say konnichiwa or something in their own language that means welcome. And then maybe every 10 minutes they come by and they ask you, is there something else I can get for you, or something like that. You know, the product that they're selling is sushi in this case, but it's the customer service that might bring people back. So there are such a thing called a service product continuum, and you have to really be able to think of things like they're on somewhat of a scale and recognize that some things are purely service and then some things are mostly product. For example, like a doctor provides you clearly with a service. A hotel provides you with a service, but you're also kind of getting a product. Likewise, on this scale, dry cleaners, for instance, they're providing you a service, but their product that they're giving you is kind of, you're getting clean clothes and you're getting a service along with that, right? With a restaurant, clearly more of a product that you're getting than in a dry cleaner or a hotel, but at the restaurant you're also getting service. And then apparel or a specialty store, you're clearly getting more of a product, but then you're getting some kind of version of service. And then like a grocery store, you're going there for the product, but then there is always some kind of service that takes place. You know, are they telling you it's on aisle 5, or are they walking you to aisle 5 and pointing to the product, for instance, if you don't know what you're looking for. Services may not be so easy to identify for some companies, but they really make some brilliant marketing ideas. I can remember when I was a child growing up, and this company called Betty Crocker has supports companies where you buy so many Betty Crocker products and you cut off the label and then you take them to your school, and in return Betty Crocker, for all the little points that they receive from the schools, they send the check to the school to help support the school, which was a really kind of cool idea, because these points, you know, they represented a lot of cupcakes or cakes or cookies or whatever product that you were buying from Betty Crocker. But it was a really cool way to generate more sales from parents who cared about their kids, and smart, you know, principals and teachers to get their students excited about getting enough box tops, for instance, that had the Points logo on it. So there really is an economic importance for service. You know, in other countries, production generally is cheaper. And when people have an idea of what they expect, because it becomes kind of an industry norm, people will place a higher value on convenience and leisure. And household maintenance can become one of those things that becomes highly specialized. And so these are different types of services that people just grow and grow to come to expect. There are product marketing ways that you can look at things, and I'm going to talk about some of those things right now. So inseparable, heterogeneous, perishable, and intangible are the four factors for differentiating service from goods. And so let's get right in and talk about that. So with intangible, it really requires things like cues to aid customers. You know, it has to have an atmosphere that is conveying value, and images are used to convey the benefit of the value. So take a carnival, for instance. Maybe there's a picture of people having fun on some of their rides. That is an intangible service that people are receiving. Inseparable, production and consumption. So production and consumption are simultaneous. You know, the little opportunity to test a service before use, and there really is a lower risk by offering guarantees or warranties. So for instance, like some hotels, you can't test a hotel out before you purchase it. And so the service that you get, you know, is instantly consumed. But like some hotels may say, hey, if you don't like your stay, just let us know and we'll refund your money. So that's the deal, is they want to have customers who are completely satisfied. So you can't really try on a hotel, but you kind of can. So with heterogeneous, this involves training, technology, and automation. And some people may actually work in organizations that have, you know, that focus on technology and training and innovation and automation, you know, like Geek Squad, for instance. Perishable, believe it or not, perishable can exist in almost any industry. For instance, airlines, when they don't have seats when they have seats that are unsold, they're not making them any money, so they lose revenue. So what some airlines do is they overbook in case people don't show up, or they'll sell at the last minute these seats at a lower reduced cost. At restaurants, you know, that clearly perishable services, products or services. So people, you never know when there is, you know, when people purchase a meal, they have to be completely satisfied with it. And so you never know how many customers you're going to have to go through the door. And when you're dealing with restaurants, you've got food that can go to waste. Same thing with hotels. You know, if hotels aren't filling all their rooms each and every night, there's lost revenues there, and so they have to think of ways in order to increase their revenues through marketing, and sometimes it's partnering with a company like Orbitz or one of those other online services to help people get a room at a lower price. So providing great service really means that you've got to identify where your gaps are. If you are a manager of a company and you know every customer expects quality service, and so managers and employees have to have a very clear understanding of what good service looks like, because good is a relative term. So you have to have specific standards and clarify what those standards look like, and help make sure that each and every employee is delivering those standards to every customer. And it kind of helps create your own brand, if you will, for your own service. So every manager really needs to make sure that every employee is properly trained and watches their employees deliver the kind of service that they expect, or there's going to be a gap. So sometimes there is a knowledge gap about customer service, and that really is about could be addressed by digging deep into the literature and finding out what customers expect. You know, what are other companies doing? Do you really understand your customers' expectations? And so you can do things to evaluate service quality. I'm a big fan of surveys. Have customers, reward customers for letting you know how the service was, what could make it better, and really learn from your customers. That time or thing that you give away to help get their information can truly be worth it. So you really have to take time as a business owner to make sure that you distinguish yourself with the meeting and exceeding customer expectations. And so it varies from organization to organization. So you have to really know what to look like in evaluating service quality. With reliability, this is the ability to perform the service dependably and accurately. With responsiveness, this is the willingness to help customers and provide prompt service. Assurance is the knowledge of and courtesy by employees and their ability to convey trust and confidence. And empathy is the caring, individualized attention to provide to customers. And then tangibles are the appearance of physical facilities, equipment, personnel, and materials. So each of these are different things to consider as you're measuring service quality. There's such a thing as tolerance zone, and you have to understand what is the desired and expected level of service from each dimension. What are the customer's perceptions of how well the focal service performs and how well a competitive service performs, and then really understand what the importance of each service is on each quality dimension that we mentioned. So really looking at setting standards for quality and then developing systems to ensure high quality service is absolutely important in every single industry. There really are some things for you to consider in order to minimize that gap. One is empower employees. I can remember working for bosses that you couldn't do anything without asking the boss. To provide support and incentives. You want to get letters from customers who are loving service. And so when you're providing incentives for employees to go above and beyond, and then support them properly, they're going to feel successful. And then using the right kinds of technology to make sure that customers are getting what they want, when they want it, and even assessing perceptions of quality can be done with technology. So you really have to allow employees to make good decisions about how service is provided for customers. They're the ones who are going to be interacting with each customer. Types of support that you can provide is emotional support to service providers. You can provide support necessary to deliver service and reward employees for excellent service, and then be consistent and coherent with how you manage the customer support that you guys give. So sometimes there are communication gaps. Communication is, people think it's so easy, but it's a lot more than just talking. If you want to manage customer expectations, you can only promise on what you truly can deliver. And so you need to be able to communicate what you can deliver in a way that makes good sense. So I think the most frustration comes from people is when they expect one thing and they get something else. And so you have to be very clear in communicating what you get and what you don't get. So you can rarely please everybody at all times, but in order to, it's not what happens to you, it's what you do with what happens to you is one of my favorite sayings. So when there is a customer that's not happy, you've got to address it. One, really listen to the customer. Two, resolve the problems quickly. And then three, provide a fair solution. This is how you can build, make lemonade out of lemons. And that really is an awesome philosophy, because it may cost you something right off the bat, but in the longer run, you're saving your company's reputation, which can be torn down by just a handful of dissatisfied customers. You want to keep people happy. So customers really will get emotional over service failures. So you really, really, really want to listen carefully. Make sure that you are fair in delivering to their expectations, and that you've got the right procedures that feel fair to everybody involved. And I love, when talking about business, this philosophy of thinking win-win truly matters. The longer it takes to resolve a service failure, the more irritated a customer is going to be. So it really is in your company's best interest to resolve problems quickly. All right, probably a longer video than you expected, but just a few things to consider. Every product really is connected with the service. So and that's called intangible products. So I appreciate your valuable time. I hope there was something in here that you can take away, and even more importantly than that, I hope that you have a great day, because only you get to choose how you feel about it. I'm